I'm adding you. I'm adding you. No? Doesn't want to do it? Oh, there we go.
Hold on a minute. I've got something really strange. There we go.
You good?
I can't actually, hang on.
Do you want me to, do you want to try again?
It's just hiding my face, but is that what it's meant to do?
No, I can see your face. It's
Okay.
meant to be like a split screen. So
Yeah.
mine on one side and yours on the other.
Okay. I can't see you, and I can see the Dance Integrated wants to be live with you, but
Oh,
yeah.
should we try re-adding you then?
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's try that. I'm trying something
I
wrong.
don't know how to kick you out. I've never had to kick anyone out.
Let me just do mine. I'll read.
Okay, all right, try again. All right, hang in there, guys. All right, let's see if we can add her again. Okay, hopefully this time is good. Just waiting. Sorry, guys, bear with us. Oh, yeah. What is going on? Well, I've invited her. Hopefully she joins me. That would be good. Okay, waiting. Nothing's going on. Let me try and add her again. Okay. Oh, she requested. Okay. No? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you are. I sent a request. I think you sent a request. It got confusing.
I'm so sorry. That is classic that went wrong on my one because I'm like,
It's all right.
I've before. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's right. On the last one, I think I lost Kieran about halfway, and he was gone for about a minute. It was just me, like, so it's all right. But yay! Thanks for joining me, Joe. I'm really excited to have you.
Thanks.
That's all right. Yeah. Hi, guys. I can see a lot of like UEL people joining, so that's nice.
I can see
Old people.
My friend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to start the live. I'm so excited to have Joe on. I've known Joe since before uni, actually at Larben. I think I did summer school. Do you remember?
What year was that? I was trying to think about this morning.
I think that was that like a year? I don't know. I joined UEL 2014, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe that was 2013.
Wow. Yeah, because
I'm really old now.
no summer school, wasn't it?
Yeah. I joined summer school when I thought I was going to be a contemporary dancer. And then ended up joining street, so I feel like I was good at something.
Aww.
But yeah, so we've known each other since then, so it's really cool to have you on. And then also you was my amazing lecturer at uni, which I'm sure most people can agree with. So yeah, so we're really excited to have you on. Anyone who's watching, if you have questions or comments or anything, pop them in the chat, and then we'll come back to them at the end. Because otherwise I can't do it live. I'm so bad with just doing lives, I can't read it and everything. Cool. So we always start the conversations with just like how you got into dance. I think it's really important for people to see how all these big names actually got started in dance, because sometimes it feels like it just happened for them. So yeah, I would love to hear about how you got started.
Yeah, so well, firstly, my mum was a dancer, professional dancer, and my dad is a professional musician. So I kind of grew up like around dance and music from like, you know, being a baby basically.
Yeah.
And I went to a kind of private dance school, did like a lot of tap, jazz, ballet, those kinds of styles, and then did like GCSE and A-level dance, which got me a bit more interested in like contemporary dance. And then I ended up going to the University of Surrey to do my first like bachelor's BA honours degree, which was in it was a course called Dance and Culture with Professional Training. It doesn't exist anymore, but really cool. I got to do like some kind of I got to study critic, for example, in my first year. So at the time, it was like a really forward-thinking course.
Yeah.
Yale wasn't around at the time. That at Kingston didn't exist yet. So some
Yeah.
dance courses with sort of more diverse dance styles, and I got to do aerial dance as well, so which was amazing. Yeah, so there were some amazing things about the course, and then in terms of like how I got interested in hip hop and other associated styles, it was got into a company called T21 Dance when I was at uni with a choreographer called Vicky Steege.
Okay.
And basically she was going to this event called Skills and Drills, which was headed up by Robert Hilton, what was Greenwich Dance Agency at the time.
Okay.
And then she was like, you got to come. So I basically learned some popping and breaking from her, and then went to drills, and then my mind was just blown, because that was where Fred, Clara, Bly, Mr. Ben, like loads of different people over the so yeah, it was that was kind of my way in.
Yeah, that sounds great. Cool. So then after graduating and kind of after you kind of started finding your feet in dance, what was like your first job, and like how did you get that job?
I mean, my first ever job in dance was actually a teaching assistant at my private dance school. I taught like tap, like as an assistant. They were like tiny little ones with tap shoes. It was like 5 hours of sore ears every Friday, and I think I was paid like £4.50 an hour or something. Like, so excited about. I thought it was great, so I did that first, and that was just through my dance school. But then at uni I started doing a bit more teaching, like within different kind of community and education projects. I think coming back to the work that I was doing with T21, basically whenever Vicky couldn't do a job, she used to then offer it to me, and she kind of took me under her wing. So then I started doing a lot more kind of freelance dance teaching jobs, and performing with the company as well. Like we did a breaking convention a few times at the Brighton Dome, and Resolution at the Place, those kinds of like emerging platforms. So that was kind of my way in, really.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So was it always teaching that you wanted to do, or was it just kind of like that's how you kind of fell into working?
No, not at all, actually. I knew was that, you know, I had these two passions, which were dance and music. I played piano as well, and really like music as well. And then I just knew that I wanted to make my money from dance and music, and then dance. When I went to study dance, I decided, okay, I'm going to focus more on dance, which is kind of weird, because in the end, like with my PhD and stuff, I ended up researching dance and music again, so it kind of circle. But I just knew that I wanted to have a career in doing what I loved, but that was kind of as much as I was fixed on. But I did really enjoy teaching. I really enjoyed performing, but I think at the time, I mean, it's changed, thank goodness, quite a good now, but back then I looked at maybe certain ways that women were presented, and I didn't really feel that was comfortable for me, or what I wanted to pursue, like more in the commercial industry. So but really loved the theatre. So I think of like really early on knew that I wanted to perform in like theatre stuff. So
But I think that's really great, because I think if you have more just an open mind when you're at university or when you're leaving, then you're kind of more likely to find a career that kind of chooses you in a way. I don't know, that sounds corny, but
just distracted by the people like, hey, Francesca.
Oh, they're not even. Oh, there we go. They're popping up for me now. Oh, hi. Mine. I try and ignore it, but your face is covered with the messages. Oh, it's gone now. Yay. But you say hi to people as they join. That's fine.
It's distracting, so I just want to chat.
Because loads of people pop up and I think come and go, so it gets distracted. What was we talking about? I just got distracted by the comments. I was saying it's nice to have like just more of a general open mind when you're trying to find your work. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I think I was quite overwhelmed by it all. Like when someone said to me, oh, you could do a master's, I was like, what's a master's? I was like, I didn't, wasn't my plan. I think I was just doing lots of different things at the same time. So I was doing some performing, like theatre stuff. I became an emerging artist, associate kind of emerging artist at Woking Dance Festival, and then like some choreography, and then had the opportunity to be mentored by Robert Hilton, which was like amazing, like one of the best things ever. I learned so much from him. So then I was teaching like key stage 1 and 2 dance in a primary school, which was really like the dance part of PE, but I had to do like syllabus and everything. So I think I was just very open to doing loads of different things, really. And enjoyed that.
Jack, just here to distract. Thanks. You're really helping us out. Oh no, that actually distracted me. I had a question right on the tip of my tongue. What was it? It's left me. Great, thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Okay, cool. We'll move on to the next question then. So what's been like a highlight moment for you in your career?
I actually had to write some things. I had to write down.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got it down to 3. I think there's been so many highlights, to be honest. And you know, some were like expected and some were very unexpected as well. But for me, number 1 is definitely the moment I found out that I passed my PhD, because it almost killed me, quite honestly. It was such an intense thing. I did it for 6 years. I had for a chunk of it, I was doing the full-time job at UEL at the same time. And it was, in the beginning, it was this thing that I wanted. It was this external thing, but by the end, it was very personal, and it was like kind of like my test of my own commitment and hard work. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to write, because it was the only time I had. So that was definitely, when I found out that I passed and they were like, "Congratulations, Dr. Joey," I was just like, oh my God. I knew out.
So great, because you get the title page as well. Which is just sexy.
Well, that's just so weird. That still feels weird. Yeah, that was number 1. I'd say another one was going to perform at Ladies of Hip Hop in New York with Skittle. Where we did our duet there. But just because we were performing at the Alvin Ailey Theatre, my mum like loves Alvin Ailey, so does my nan, and I've kind of grown up going to watch them at Sadler's Wells at different points. So go to their theatre and perform. With Skits was so good. It was like it was an amazing trip and amazing moment. And then thirdly, I've put when I did Latitude Festival with the Boy Blue Lot. I think it was 20 I want to say 2018, but it might have been 2017. But basically we did like a old school hip hop set with Mikey DJing on the river stage, and basically it was just like a rave as the sun was coming down. There was thousands of people. Mikey was like doing like amazing tunes and all that, and it was just really memorable. It was amazing. I luckily got to see you do Ladies of Hip Hop as well. Of course,
I was there. It was awesome. It was like a nice surprise to just see you in New York. That was really cool. I remember my question now. So you did your masters. Was that straight after your undergrad? I feel like I heard that.
I did go straight into the masters, but my BA actually had it was 4 years, and the 3rd year was a placement year. So I know like a lot of universities have a placement module, but on this course I did my year 1, year 2, then a placement year, and then my final year. So even though I went straight to the masters, I had done a year of work where I kind of built up a freelance career and then sustained that through 3rd year and masters. So it was kind of I kind of took a year out, but in a different kind of way because of the degree.
Really cool. Your highlights sound amazing, by the way. So good. I feel like I just backtracked. Okay, great. So I feel like so next question. Did you always know that you wanted to become a dance lecturer, or did that kind of just happen? So how long was the gap after your masters to your PhD? What was that transition like?
Yeah, I took a bit of time between the masters and the PhD just because I was working, doing loads of stuff. I was doing some visiting. I started to do some visiting work at Surrey, just teaching. I did a little bit of dissertation supervision after the masters, and bits and pieces of like visiting work. And I started then a few years after doing like some visiting lecturing at Kingston.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And doing just like loads of projects, working with various different organizations, and then sort of thought about the PhD. So yeah, there was a gap between that. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like, how did you get your first lecturing, like your little lecturing jobs, and stuff?
It was basically I went to a conference to present something that was on my master's, and I basically did something that had a little bit of performance in it as well as presenting. And
yeah.
Basically one of the lecturers from two of the lecturers from Kingston were in the audience at the conference.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They chatted to me and they were like, oh, we'd love you to come and do that, but as a guest lecturer with our students.
Yeah.
So basically I went and did that, and I think it went really well. And then it was kind of like maybe 6 months later they invited me back to do a bit more stuff, and it kind of built. Yeah. So it was basically from this one chance meeting at a conference, where they just kind of thought what I did was interesting, and yeah, we went.
Yeah, really cool.
But I definitely didn't like know that was what I wanted to do at all. Not at all.
So when the job came up for like UEL senior, did you just start as a normal lecturer and then become senior? Yeah. How was that transition?
You know, it was one of those things. I didn't actually, I nearly didn't go for it at all. And then it was like a colleague I had at Kingston was like, oh, I think you should go for that. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I'm still only halfway through my PhD. Like I'd sort of done about half of it at the time. And, but then I kind of was like, oh, maybe you're right. Like, cause it's like, I was super interested in the program, and actually previous to that, you're going like light.
I've just gone dark. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Sorry, I'm in this new like co-working office space. It's just somewhere I don't know. Sorry, carry on.
So I was just going to say, previous to that, Carla actually had given me a call to ask me to do a bit of visiting lecturing at UEL, but I couldn't, because she reminded me of this when we were on Luke's podcast, actually.
Oh, right, yeah.
Basically, I couldn't do it because it clashed with something I was already doing. So there had already been like a little connection, but then I went for that job. It was more just because I was like, oh, I'm super interested in that. And I thought, yeah, good experience for me to go for it, because eventually when I was doing the PhD, I kind of thought, okay, I would like to go into that more. So yeah, but then just kind of, it happened.
Yeah. What was the interview process like?
I had to teach like a miniature lecture.
Yeah.
And then obviously a long application form that was like long. And
really?
Then teaching demonstration where I had like a few students and then some people observing. And then I had a like full interview and presentation with a panel.
Oh, wow. That sounds intense.
Yeah, I can hardly remember it now, but I remember one of my colleagues at the time, she's moved on now, she was the program leader at the time, Jyoti. She said, oh, one of your buttons had done something weird and it was like flapping, and she's like, and I was really amazed that it didn't distract you, and apparently like all the way through my
That's brilliant. Cool. So yeah, if we're moving it back to like current graduates, obviously you work with graduates, so you're like amazing for the target audience for what I'm trying to do. So what do you think like current arts graduates / like early career artists, what do you think their major like challenges are right now?
Well, I mean, I would say first of all the obvious pandemic, which are just it's just having like such an impact on everyone all the time, everywhere, but in the arts, in really specific. I think aside from that, the main thing is this idea that you need to get experience to get a job, but then you need to get a job to get experience, and it's catch 22. Like, it's quite hard to break it'll break into, and that's the bit that I think becomes just so frustrating, especially when even, you know, internships, even if they're unpaid, they're like super competitive. And hard to organize, particularly at the moment. So I do think it's just breaking that cycle of like, oh, you don't have enough experience, you need to get some work experience, but then a lot of the time you need to get a job to get work experience. And I get really cool. So I would probably say that there's many, you know, when it comes to being a freelancer and just like, and I suppose also I remember something when I was freelancing, you know, the idea that you can never relax. Like, basically, even if you're in really good money, you're always waiting for that to change again. So it can be really hard to just kind of plan, actually, and to relax. So I'd say probably those things.
Yeah, definitely. With regards to the trying to, you know, get a job, but you need work experience, all of that, because I think that is a major thing. I know I definitely struggle with that myself as well. Do you think there's any ways to kind of overcome that?
It depends. I suppose it's different depending on the kind of job you're wanting to get, because if it's more like performing or like, you know, commercial work or something kind of that's to do with performing, you know, the sort of what you have on your CV and stuff is less maybe important in some cases, and it's more about like networking, maybe see if you can get some mentorship from somebody that you it's informal, somebody whose work you admire or something like that. When it comes to kind of applying for a job where you might have a job application process, I would say some of it is about how you word things, like as well. So on your CV, you know, you might think, oh well, I only did that, but actually that could be translated to another type of skill. So like could be like transferable skill, which is so it's also knowing the language to use to frame what you've done. That can be helpful as well, I think, because I think sometimes like students or graduates have done some amazing stuff, but it's just about the framing of it as well. So maybe those things. But I think and I was just going to say, but I think mentorship can be super, just like talk to people, find ways to ask questions, make them those connections with people as well.
Yeah, definitely. I just back that up as well. Yeah, talk to people, ask people to look at your CV and stuff as well, because you can look at something so many times and be like, yeah, it's great, but then someone can read it, but that doesn't make sense. That happens all the time, you know. So yeah, I think definitely just talk to people and don't be afraid to talk to people.
Oh yeah, and one other thing I would say that helped me, was a bit of a aha moment, was having a different CV for the different types of things that I did. So I had one for anything performance-y, one for teaching, one for like research and university land. So having those different CVs that are catered a little bit for those different things was another thing I think helpful.
Yeah, and I think don't be afraid to big yourself up as well. I think sometimes you can think, not big yourself up like I'm amazing and then you're not, but just like being able to just talk about yourself confidently as well.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because of the whole experience thing, all of that. Okay, cool. So I always ask everyone every time they join my live, if someone could come to you at like the start of your career and give you like one bit of advice, what would that be? Or if you're a couple, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Not free. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
So the first one is like quite a practical thing, which is don't wait to get injured to look after your body, because I think that's a mistake that I made for definite. Like idea that I thought I was invincible when I was in my early 20s. You know, I'm a healthy, fit dancer and nothing's going to happen to me. Like I can sprint around on upside down and on the floor, and I think, you know, that was really short-sighted, and that's something when you're sorry, I just choked a bit on my granola.
Sorry.
When you're thinking about expenses, it's not just about the train fare and the sandwich you need to buy, right? It's about massage, physio, a Swiss ball, foam roller, all those things. Because sorry, I'm still choking.
Sorry. Take time. It's all good.
Okay, that's better. Because I've been diagnosed in the last few years with a chronic illness, and that has had a massive impact on my dancing, and I'm finding ways to manage it, but it's been a real challenge, and I just never would have imagined that those things would have happened. So it's having a pot of money for the ways that you look after yourself. So with some jobs you get health insurance and these kinds of cover, sick pay, and as a freelancer you don't get any of those things. So I would say having a pot of money that you can dip into for, like, if you need a massage because you've got a injury, like, but just doing that as a matter of course and not waiting for something to go wrong to do that, because that is something I 100% regret.
Definitely. That's really good advice.
So that's one. I think secondly probably be just that, an understanding that sometimes the kind of shinier, more high profile jobs aren't always the best or the best paid always. So like just some of the smaller company work that I've done with, like, maybe just one artist who's got a little bit of funding, they've been like the best paid and the best, and I've been sort of the best looked after as an artist in those roles and been able to tour and stuff like that. So I think just making sure that you go for a balance of look for the small opportunities as well as the big opportunities, because enjoying the process. Sorry, I think I'm just thinking of more as I'm going along. Like I'm having this moment working on it was a project with Kenrick for Boy Blue. It was called Drug, and we did it at Artists for Art.
I saw that
at Redbridge.
I saw that.
The process, there was about 6 of us artists. It was like Iona Bree, Jordan Franklin, a few other, Ricardo, Paulina, I think myself and Ken, and Frank Wilson actually was involved in the process as well. And we just had it was such a good process. Like there was something about it. We had like a cup of tea after every rehearsal. It sounds like
that's nice.
At the end of rehearsal, everyone was stretched. We had a cup of tea. We just sort of debrief, and there was something about it being a really close-knit circle. And it was a real moment, I think, in my like dance life where I just thought I love the process. I really actually love the choreographic process, and I do obviously love the performance. But the performance is also a bit of a double-edged sword, because it often means it's over as well. The job. So I think like just finding ways to fall in love with the process, even if the process is bumpy, is because that's the bit of your career that you spend the most time on. That is a crazy important one. And then finally, I think for me it will be, and if some people might not have this, and like I am very jealous of those people, but like to work on your inner critic. 100%. That voice that will come in and tell you, oh, you're not good enough, or you're not as good as this person, or you're not doing anything compared to them. Like that is something that I've had to work on it basically, and put some like just little boundaries in place. So if I'm feeling like more sensitive, maybe just think carefully, do I want to be like on social media loads that day? Probably not, because it's probably going to make it worse. So it's like those things that we tell ourselves that hold us back. I've definitely found that doing some like quite deliberate work on that is important. So like one that I told my students this last week, I put like a limit on Instagram. So basically I can spend 15 minutes on it a day and it just kicks me off.
Oh really? How did you do that?
It's on settings on the iPhone. So I didn't like that thing where you go on it and then you lose time, and I'm like, I've got so much to do, why am I losing time on this? So I put that in place, and now it just goes, you have reached your limit on Instagram today. So I'm like, okay, bye. And I found that me back in control. Like, it just, because obviously it's designed to keep you on the app, like it's designed for you to not leave. So I just taking a bit more control over that was like a positive thing. So like today I had to reset it, because otherwise it would have kicked me off this after 15. Yeah, those kinds of little things. Like, obviously social media is just like one example, but I think that where there's an environment where you can sort of, I don't know, you can say inner critic, in a bitch. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here. So,
That's fine.
like, that's what I feel like I sometimes have, that even now it will be like, well, you're not working fast enough, it's not good enough, you're not training hard enough. Like, days where I'm struggling with my health, it will be like, you know, oh, get over it, like, you know, sort of, it's not very nice at all. And working on that has helped me a lot to sort of just like help for it sort of lost its power the more I and if I say some of those things out loud, it's like, well, you would never say that to someone else, or even about someone else, like, so why do we think it about ourselves? So
no, I think everyone can relate to that. But I think, like you said, it's like, would you say that to your friend or your partner or your family member? Like, no. So don't say it to yourself, you know.
Well, I think it's hard because there's just less protection in place for, like, I don't know, even if you're employed by an organisation, like there's certain things in place for you, which I just think as a freelancer, you just don't have. So it almost leaves you wide open to those voices. But yeah, so I'd say probably those are the main.
Yeah, though that was so useful. I have like no more questions, but I feel like I've gained so much, and hopefully everyone watching has gained as well. But if anyone has any questions or any comments, if they want to pop them in the chat, and let's have a little scroll. I'm always so bad at this. If you want to have a see.
I can see so many of my lovely students.
Lots of nice comments.
Fred is there. Maria. Siobhan. So many cool people. And I have to say happy birthday, Keelan. It's your birthday today.
Happy.
My light feet buddy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jo. So it's
welcome.
Definitely is. Yeah. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you're working on now that you want to share?
There's one thing. So it's in its very early stages, but I'm basically working on a new choreographic project that is working with professional dancers and artists who have endometriosis.
Yeah.
So if there are any professional dancers or artists who have a diagnosis of endometriosis out there who would be interested in potentially talking about that project, then I would love to hear from people. We're doing like a first phase of the project. It's sort of funding dependent, so I'm waiting to hear back for that. But I'm definitely up for collaborating with more artists. So if anyone knows anyone, just drop me a message. So I'm well up hearing from people.
If you've got any info, share it with me, and I can share it on our page as well.
Joe the Wise. Is there any long-term goals you have now? Oh gosh, I think, to be honest, if I'm to be really honest, I'm still figuring out those longer-term goals. I published an article that had some of my PhD bits in, which was a goal, which I did in the International Journal of Screen Dance. But now I've got really interested in kind of the well-being. I just qualified as a coach, working coaching and stuff. So I've started doing that with other staff members at UEL, actually, in like, not in the arts, in different areas of the university. And interested in well-being, and I'm kind of and through my project as well with Endo, so I'm kind of quite excited to see where that can go now. Is Fresno, they want to meet Fresno. Come on, Fresno.
Oh yeah, the cat. Yay. I was like, Fresno? Oh, so cute.
So that's just for Sophie Barker, that.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, that's probably yeah. I'm still, the answer is I'm figuring that out. Like I'm probably light feet. I've got quite a few goals. Because I started battling in, well, what was it, 2019, and then did a couple of other battles. But obviously since the pandemic, I did one online battle, but it's kind of just not the same. It was good, but it's not the same. So yeah, I'm training hard in light feet, and I think for me that was really exciting because of just being like maybe a bit older in my career, like in the dance world, a bit older because I'm not old, but like, but then starting a new style, and that
pretty cool.
So that's definitely a goal as well, to continue to sort of develop with that. And yeah,
amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I think everyone's just sharing lots of love. So that's really nice. Lots of positivity. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm just going to do a little plug for what I'm working on at the moment. So I'm just putting together. Oh, I need to stop touching. I'm just putting together a mastermind group at the moment, which is just a closed online group for people to work on their goals, any problems they have, and I'll try and find the answers for them. I've started one, so I'm looking at starting another group beginning of April. So if anyone's interested in joining, please message me or have a look on my page. You can see the info how to join. But yeah, it's a positive time. So thanks so much, Jo, and thanks for
and thank you, Fern, and thanks for the work you're doing.
All right, thank you so much, Jo. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.